Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about Carlos King actually speaking on rumors that we've heard about him and the storyline going back to season 9 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta involving Candy, Phaedra, and Portia. Now, before we get into these sound bites, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video, or even if you feel led to hit the dislike button, both work the same, meaning that YouTube will recommend this video to more people who love to converse about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Marriage Huntsville, within the Black tea sector, Black celebrity gossip. So definitely hit one of those buttons. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. And of course, everything that I'm saying here is alleged and my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed for criticism. All right, so now let's go ahead and get started. Now, I found this to be very interesting. First of all, you may be wondering, why the heck is Carlos in his turquoise silk pajamas with his matching silk scarf? That is because he went live the other night and it was at bedtime. He was quite fired up after watching the part 3 reunion for season 4 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. If you've been watching my Carlos King videos lately, you know that he has been going up for Monica Garcia. She is a one-hit wonder on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, premiering in season 4, and it has already been announced that she will not be returning for season 5 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Carlos King has been defending her, although it came out that she was running a troll account where they were trolling the cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But even more, there's video of her going up to some of the castmates' house, kind of like stalking, in my opinion. Definitely not cool, in my opinion, unsafe. And so I totally see why Bravo decided to cover their behind CYA and let go of this girl. During part 3, it got really, really deep because Monica actually tried to say that during her first interview to appear on the show, production knew that she ran the secret troll account. And Andy Cohen says at the reunion, don't go there. He goes, if production knew that you ran a troll account, we would not have cast you for this show. And Monica just said, okay. I watched it on Peacock. If you have a Peacock subscription, but you have not been looking at Salt Lake City, it's okay. I recommend that you watch the very last episode before the reunion episodes of season 4. Just watch that one episode and the 3 reunions. That's all you need, okay? So I'm just setting the scene. This is why Carlos decided to go live that night after it aired. He's in his pajamas. He has a lot to say. He's still going up for Monica, but what was said at that reunion, because Monica wasn't the only one to blame production, Heather, who was the one that got all of the receipts and proof that Monica was riding up to some of the cast members' houses, and she was saying really mean things about them under the burner account or troll account. She had a situation during season 3 where Jen Shah allegedly punched her in the face, but Heather tried to say, I was afraid of her. Jen Shah is Asian, who's married to a Black man, a Black Muslim, so their family is Muslim, and Heather is white, saying that she was afraid of her. That's why she protected her and even tried to joke and say that a producer punched her in the face during season 3. So this is what triggers Carlos King to talk about his experience as a producer, as well as what other producers go through.
Heather, in her fake ass tears, is trying to play this victim. And the unfortunate part is she rallied the other girls with her to go against Monica. Heather is the most dangerous housewife alive, and she cannot be trusted. She scares me because I'm going to speed through this because Heather pissed me off tonight. I'm so sick and tired of reality stars thinking it's okay to go to the press lying on producers. Because when it comes to producers, because the general public does not understand what a producer does, it's easy for these reality stars to just say, oh, well, the producer told me to say it. Well, the producer made me do it. Well, the producer did this and the producer did that. You are perpetuating this very dangerous stereotype that the world has on producers because no one understands our job. And the reason why I have this seat, and I'm the only person in this seat that actually has a production company, a full service production company who creates shows and produces talent, I'm telling you what I do for a living. And that's the reason why I'm the only person who can say it, because I'm not afraid of the people who got a problem with it. Okay? Heather lying on producers with this whole black eye thing with Jen. I know what it's like to have a housewife lie on me. And that shit follows me wherever I go. And I did nothing. I did nothing. Why should Heather be on the show if you're lying about producers and saying they hid stuff and maybe they hid footage or edit things out, and y'all are okay with this woman being on the show still? But we need to kick off Monica because Monica reposted blogs about how you look. So it's dangerous when you're doing it with another housewife. But it's not dangerous when you do it to producers. Producers don't get paid the same much. We producers, okay, we're not getting paid millions of dollars to film 5 hours a day for 4 months. And then you go on your press tour trying to diss us, when at the end of the day, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have a job to begin with. We're the ones making minimum wage, working 12 plus hours a day to make your show pop. And because Heather is a gross liar. She's a gross human being. Because how dare you sit up there and say, oh, I was joking about lying on producers. It's not a fucking joke. That travels with us. Lying on producers travel with us. Why is it acceptable that you can sit up and say a producer came into your room, he was good looking? Are you guys not listening to what she's saying? When she said maybe a producer gave her the black eye, yes. But that's okay. But Monica, being a Latino woman who doesn't make as much as them, who Heather said, you don't have as much as us, who reposted blog comments about you guys, she's dangerous. But this blonde woman sitting next to the host talking about, well, I was afraid. Why are you so afraid of these women of color on your show? You're afraid of Jen, you're afraid of Mary, and now you're afraid of Monica? Why are you guys only afraid of the women of color on the show? And then you have Whitney and her Chrissy Summers, Three's Company character. Well, I feel sorry for Heather because, I'm looking at her now and she had to deal with that. Poor Heather, she had to deal with this. You guys are so afraid of the women of color on the show.
Okay, so Carlos talked about the rumor from season 9 of Real Housewives of Atlanta following him wherever he goes because he has such a long career on various networks producing various shows. So let's briefly go back to season 9 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We all know that major storyline that was very problematic and disturbing. So Kandi had a scene with Portia where she wanted to know, what was their beef, what was their problem. And Portia said that Candy actually said to someone that she wanted to DRUG Portia and Shamia and take them to her SEX dungeon in her home. It was extremely outrageous. And at the time, it seemed extremely far fetched. Okay, so then fast forward to the reunion, and Candy wanted to know, why Portia would say something that was such a lie. Candy says, I'm very open about my sexuality. I have no reason to have to DRUG anyone to get someone. I don't have to do that. And then Portia said that it was Phaedra who told her that. And so then, everyone knew that Phaedra was the originator of that lie. The only reason why I say not the DRUG part, but the whole having of like a threesome or foursome, that turned out to be something that, people could kind of say, well, they've talked about having threesomes allegedly, but then you have the whole T.I. and Tiny angle and everything that has happened with them going back to like 2021, 2020 with the alleged lawsuits and everything, then I kind of feel like that was probably where Phaedra got her muse from, her inspiration to come up with such a salacious story because of whatever they hear in Atlanta about that couple. And then they're really good friends with Candy. She grew up with them, grew up singing with Tiny. And then I think Phaedra just applied some of those rumors and alleged incidents to Candy and just kind of expound upon it and threw Portia into the mix and told Portia, and bing bam boom, you got this crazy storyline. So obviously, Candy definitely. I'm convinced she took it to Bravo execs and said, "Hey, this is very damaging to my reputation. I am a songwriter. I have business relationships with people. I have my adult toy line. I don't want anyone thinking that they cannot be associated with me, thinking that I would DRUG someone for SEX." And the cast banded together and decided that they would not film with Phaedra. So Bravo had no other choice but to let Phaedra go. They brought Portia back. She really, had to go through it. They really weren't checking for her, but things did get better with like each and every season. It got a little better and easier for Portia to deal with the ladies. But somewhere along the way, it was brought up that, Carlos made these adult women tell this lie on Candy. And so he said that this has followed him. And he talked about, just how people line on production and because they know that the general public, they do not know what producers do. All I can say is from like your local news standpoint, not reality TV, but with local news, those producers, they go into the TV studio every morning. They read the news feeds, meaning CNN, the Associated Press, Fox News feeds, MSNBC, whatever their beat is, meaning whatever type of story they produce. They read those feeds and they decide which ones that they're going to report on. There's someone assigned to listen to your local police scanners to find out if there's like a shooting or if, God forbid, there's like a 25 car pileup on the highway. There's someone who listens to those police scanners. And then the producers have a meeting in the morning to decide which reporters go to which stories. And then, you're going to cover this story in this area. You go with this videographer and you're going to report for the 12, 5, and 6 o'clock newscasts, whatever. So for reality TV, I cannot speak on it. I can just gauge on what we watch. Obviously, there's a producer who does the confessionals, I would imagine, and asks the confessional questions. Even nowadays, in recent years, when we watch reality TV, sometimes you'll hear the producer's voice when they ask the talent the question, and then we'll hear their answer in the confessional. So we know that there's a producer who does that. from the whole Destiny fiasco with her ex-boyfriend marrying her field producer. When Destiny did an interview recently, she explained that the field producer is someone who is assigned to you. They spend a lot of time with you trying to get to know you so that they can try and, I guess, help you carve out your storyline or things that you would talk about on camera. Because Destiny's point that she was making during that interview was that, Sonny allegedly was getting to know her, asking her questions. So she knew that Destiny was seeing Moses and knew some things about him, whatever Destiny told her about him. So we know that that's what the field producer does. But Carlos was saying that our lack of knowledge about what production does gives some reality TV stars, not all, this, opportunity to kind of blame where they lack on camera, to blame it on production. And I want to know in the comments, what do you all think about that? I feel a couple of ways about it. I feel like on the one hand, yes, he obviously knows that we do not know the ins and outs of producers for reality TV because, I mean, none of us know 100% what everyone does on their jobs. You just know how to do your job well. You stay in your lane. And then on the other hand, I feel like, well, we know ultimately the ultimate goal is for you all to produce a great show. And when it comes to reality TV, it's got to be, some point of drama that you're trying to get at, So I kind of feel like I don't think that is cool for reality TV stars to just blatantly blame production for everything. But, I'm not stupid. I know that producers, they have to try and I guess guide the show to kind of come up with some drama. So Carlos actually continued to talk about production, producers, and what they go through. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
It's perfect. I'm the one that was mad at Jen when Jen said, people of color always get accused of crimes they didn't do. And then she pled guilty, and it was like, well, Jen, you actually did it. Don't put people of color because again, people of color constantly gets labeled of doing bad things. So the fact that I was so livid that they made a mockery out of production. And I'm livid because I know what it's like to be producer. I'm livid because I know what it's like to get lied on. I have to deal with for the rest of my fucking life having a lie travel because somebody felt the need to use my name to get out the heat. So the fact that we're still seeing that happen years later, and the only reason why my name travel is because God has blessed me with this amazing career that I've always wanted since I was 12. And at the time, I was hosting other reunion shows for TV One, shows I created, Hollywood Divas and Next 15. So people knew who I was. So when I got lied on, it was like, well, Carlos must have said it because those shady producers. Those producers are shady. Those producers have no moral compass. So people believed it. And because I'm such a spiritual person, I really believe in God fighting my battles. And one day when I write my book, you guys will read about it, child. But I had to deal with that. And I'm a tough mother ever. And I dealt with it, and God has blessed me abundantly because God always said to me and to other people, I will use your enemies as a footstool to springboard you to greatness. So the fact that Heather can sit up there and lie producers, and y'all want to laugh at it, but y'all want to hold Monica's feet to the fire because she said she reposted unflattering comments about you guys.
So he went on to say that, producers, they spend time away from their families. He said, there's not production companies in Salt Lake City, Utah. There's not, just producers. And I would imagine, I'm guessing videographers and editors just available to work in all these cities. So he says that these production members, they do leave their families and they go out of state to film these shows for 4 months at a time. And he said that, they don't make all of the money that the reality TV stars do, but they work 12-hour day shifts. and they work, longer hours than the actual talent does. Now, I would say this, while I'm pretty sure we all know that on Bravo, a lot of those stars, the long-time reality TV stars, they're making in the seven figures, a million and up. We know that Candy has been making 2 million per season for quite a few seasons now. And I would imagine on OWN, those reality TV stars, at least on Love and Marriage Huntsville, we know that they're making in the six-figure range. I believe Melody makes at least 5,600 per episode, and they have several episodes per season. They work so hard, and deservedly so, for her to make several hundred thousand a year. So Carlos says the producers, they don't make anywhere near the reality TV stars, but I would imagine, I would hope that they make decent money. During this live, he said that the production, they make minimum wage. I am guessing that he is exaggerating, or he's perhaps comparing it to what the talent makes. It's like minimum wage. I don't believe that. I'm pretty sure for a nationally syndicated reality TV show, that the producers, they would have to make at least 50 grand a year, 75 grand, I would hope, especially if they are working 12-hour days. Now, granted, they are working like 4 months out of the year, so perhaps that pay, it would then have to get allocated throughout the entire 12 months. No telling how their pay is spread out. If it's spread out the way teachers' pay is, since they have the summers off, who knows? But he just basically talked about during this live that it's not all glamorous for production, and that they don't deserve to get lied on when reality TV stars, they get caught doing things, having inappropriate behavior, basically, from creating troll accounts to lying, saying how you got a black eye, not saying who truthfully hit you, with Heather, and season 9 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I want to know in the comments, who do you all think that spreaded that rumor about Carlos King being involved? Allegedly, and in my opinion, I assume that it may have been Phaedra, but you all let me know as well. And what do you all think about, I think that on one hand, I do think that it's good that he is speaking up for producers, because that is the field that he works in, but I have to also say, I think that Carlos doesn't always review a situation in a full length mirror. There's a poem that talks about, loving yourself in a full length mirror. So I always take it further. Like, if people try to just tell half a story, like look at the whole situation in a full length mirror, because on the flip side, now he's dealing with Martell and that post that he made under Carlos King's post a few weeks ago, where he said that he really did not want to take flowers to Melody, but production made him do it. He did not want to film that scene with Melody, but production made him do it, and that they are all actors. He's dealing with Martell blaming production on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And Martell has been someone that, in my opinion, Carlos has both protected as well as favored. And that obviously, Carlos, has done you no favors, because look how Martell has turned on you. And in this whole situation with the Revenge P, Carlos, Martell kind of gave you an ultimatum during the Tasha K interview. He said that he wants you and OWN on his side. So the question that I pose for Mr. Carlos King, are you going to be on Martell's side when it comes to the Revenge P? I thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. Please hit the like button on this video. It is a free way to support the channel. It would help me out so much. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would love to have you. I finished a cup of hot tea before I did this video. Now that I'm done with work, I'm going to have a cup of hot tea, and I will talk with you all soon. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Bye.